giving 100% and expecting nothing in return, that's the life changer right there.
Huge. Welcome to Business Insights with Matt Milia. I'm your host, Matt Milia, and in this podcast, we'll talk about the real, raw, uncut business success secrets you won't find anywhere else. Follow my journey from entry level to CEO. We discuss real actionable items you can plug into your business right away. To subscribe to our weekly top tips, you can go to www.mattpodcast.com and join our community of elite high-level performers. And if you're interested in our inside sales company, you can go to www.appointmentstoday.com to jump on a free strategy call. And now, stay tuned for our podcast.
Vague memories of that.
Woo! All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Business Insight with Matt Milia, episode number 3. And as you can see, I'm holding this nice little guitar here that was signed by Chase Bryant, and I won it at our Rock and Rescue, which was awesome. And Kristen was also there, too. Did you enjoy yourself, Kristen?
I did. I had a blast. It was so much fun.
That was really the first one you ever attended, too. So that was good.
It was. It was like total rock star stuff. It was great. Loved it.
I love it. Well, for everybody who, if you've been living under a rock and you don't know who this gentleman is, I got Joel Hollo on, and he is the team leader of the Stasek group. And Joel, welcome on. Thank you first and foremost for coming on, and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate the opportunity. It's funny because, I mean, you first of all, what people don't realize that are on watching this or who will watch the recording, you and I have a history together.
That's very true.
We go way back. I mean, this is back when I was still in sales and you were just getting started as an ISA.
Yeah.
And but we kind of like followed each other and we took off kind of together. So it was really cool, honestly, seeing where you're at now and that the fact that we still interact together on a weekly basis, pretty much.
Hell so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I am the, I guess if you want to call the manager, the team lead for Stasek Group with eXp Realty. We're based out of Cleveland, Ohio. We are a team of 40 real estate agents now, and we're constantly growing. So one of the, here's what really changed for us. So when we joined eXp about 2 years ago, we were 12 agents. And even after our whole first year, I think we only went up to 15 agents because that wasn't at first it wasn't our vision to grow the team really huge. And then somebody once said to me that the more agents that you have on your team, the more lives that you could change. And it like kind of it clicked, and I'm like, wow, that's powerful. So it completely changed things for us. We started really going after and making programs for all different agents at where they were at in their business. We were targeting people who were who were remotely thinking about getting into the industry before they were hitting the classes, or maybe they just started their classes. We were hitting the agent that was stuck at 1 to 3 million. They couldn't figure it out to get to that next level. And then we were also hitting the seasoned veteran agents. So we had a program for each of them. I apologize. And So, yeah, I mean, and it's been great. We're currently onboarding 13 people as we speak. That's something that we've had to get dialed into. You end up when you onboard people that fast, you find out exactly where the holes in your business are. And onboarding was the biggest hole I've ever seen. It's difficult. There's training involved, and you have to do it the right way. That's what we learned. And so you can give yourself the illusion of speed and onboard people fast, but then that's going to come back and haunt you later on. And they're either going to offboard very fast because you're not providing them what value, I guess. So you have to do it the right way, and it's got to be patient. You have to have a structure and a process to that. So
hockey stick growth is an amazing thing, but it's also a gift and a curse, because if you grow too damn fast, I'll never forget, this was back in 2016 when Mike Reese was starting up Ramp, and we ended up the 1 month, we got like 30 clients. So I'm like, holy shit, I got to hire a lot of ISAs. So I'm starting to hire all these people, and then all these people are coming on and they're like, when are we getting started? What's going on with this? I haven't talked to this person. I don't know what's happening here. And we learned real quick, like, okay, hockey stick growth is awesome, but it also, it gives you a whole different set of challenges. And especially with that whole onboarding process, you're absolutely right. I mean, one of the greatest takeaways I've gotten from Sheplack, and you might even be able to correct me on this because you've been with a lot of his, you've been onto a lot of his coaching and a lot of the stuff that he's done. People, the way that they are brought in is the way they're expected to go through the entire process from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Joel, did I say that right?
Yeah, no, and you're exactly right about that. And, he's huge on a huge eye opener for me was is agent retention, right? It's something that everybody has in mind, and we're all like, that's great. We obviously want to retain the most amount of agents on our team possible, but what are you doing to retain those agents? So he has us, it's called re-recruit the agents on your team back to your team. Yeah, it honestly, I know I throw this word around a lot. Powerful. It's like that was a huge takeaway for me, where I can literally every single week, every other week, every month, I call the agent and I kind of manage them. I give them praise however they want to get praise, and I re-recruit them to everything that we do on the team. So but you're exactly right. It's how they come in is you want that whole entire process. It's almost like over-promise and over-deliver.
Oh yeah. And he's a no bullshit, in your face, tell you exactly what he's thinking at all times. And that's what I love about him. He's super authentic, and you have to go in there, and if your feelings easily get hurt, I mean, you're in for a long day. But I'll tell you, but the stuff that he's brought to the table is awesome. I actually want to bring him on as a guest here one of these weeks as well. So
I get the luxury of meeting him every single Monday. We have a coaching call with him. So just like you, I mean, we're a firm believer in coaching and not only coaching the agents, but getting coached. I mean, we have three real estate coaches, and it's like, and it's not, they all should be, we feel the perfect coach should be able to coach you in every aspect of your life. And that might not be the job of one person, right? So that's why we have, a social media coach. We have a recruiting and business building coach. And then we have a real estate on day-to-day business coach. So it's pretty, I'm a firm believer in that stuff.
Yes. Ballers and shot callers. I love it, Todd.
That's good, Todd.
The biggest thing when it comes to having a coach is, and I'm going to, of course, Joel, because this is your forte, you're also coaching now with NAEA. Tell me a little bit about, when it comes to that coaching element, what's one characteristic or something that you look for in the ideal person that you're coaching?
Ooh, dude, that's a powerful question. What do I look for is, honestly, we work on something that they're obviously struggling with. But what it is it's all about, honestly, self-directed. That's how you can work. So when I go to help somebody or add value to them and figure out what part of their business they're struggling with, what can I help with, they already know. But sometimes that they don't know exactly how to do it. And it's all about how us as a coach, how we're asking the questions. And to be honest with you, digging a little deeper, it boils down to really three things that everybody could, I think, excel in their business if they just implement these three things. And number one, the silver bullet in real estate is effort. So you have to give forth a little bit of effort. I mean, it's not a quick scheme, right? So it starts with the effort. It starts with the consistency. And then what a true coach is going to do is the accountability portion of it.
I love it. So you mean to tell me that I can't just show up and automatically become the go-to listing agent and, just close deals? I mean, that's not the norm for the team.
One of our brand new agents, and I won't say any names, was sitting for deal day which we have in our office where we have a specific sources of leads that go directly to this person. They field all of our sign calls, and it's not. I don't want to dive into this and talk a ton about this, but it's not floor time, right? They're not fielding fake phone calls or phone calls with people saying, "Hey, can I speak with Matt Milia?" And you got to forward them. This is straight leads. This is on a money phone, and so a gentleman was on it the other day, and by the end of the day, he looked like he went 12 rounds with Mike Tyson, and I'm like, my man, what's going on? He goes, damn, I didn't know it was this much work. I go, what did you think it was? I mean, it's not that it's work. It's just about putting forth the effort in the right areas. I love it. Yeah, we created a club in our office. It's called the 100K Club. And here's why we created that. So long story short on it is the 100K Club is we're proving a technique that if you if you make the effort and you're consistent about coming in the office every weekday from 8:30 until noon, you do some great sprints, right? Some great call block sprints, rest and recovery after that. And then so you hit them with what we know that you should be calling, that you're easily going to make $100,000. And why this club came up is because one of our seasoned veteran agents, Dan Walters, we're sitting in a meeting and he goes, and Dan's pretty cool about saying, all right, time out, everybody listen to me. And when he says that, something good's coming out of his mouth. Well, he goes, guys, imagine if we are in corporate America and someone says, here's $100,000 every year. Here's your biweekly pay. You're going to pay. You come to the office from 9 to 5. You get an hour lunch break. You get 2 weeks of vacation, and you get your shit done. So that kind of like a light bulb went off. I'm like, whoa. What does that look like for a real estate agent? Because those are rookie numbers.
Oh, yeah.
So we created the 100K Club to show them that if you're just dialing for 3 hours a day with the right sourcing and you're doing it with the proper scripting and everything, you're going to make a minimum of $100,000 a year.
It's huge. That's huge. And the biggest thing that I really want to highlight is the one thing you said was effort, consistency, and accountability, which is huge because so many of these agents and, nowadays, I mean, the market has changed so dramatically, and it used to be where you could literally just have a book of, 400 or 500 people and a list and, these are all my relatives and friends of friends. And these are the people I'm going to market to. But all of a sudden now we've become more masterful marketers. We've become lead generators, lead conversion experts. Yeah. And we've had to, because if we don't, you're either differentiating or dying in this business. Talk a little bit about, what you guys are doing with lead generation, because that's the one thing, for everyone that's watching, by the way, Al Stasek, of course, as well, leader of the team, he basically had remember the voting for, whether you're voting for Trump or you're voting for Hillary, if you're looking to move out of the country, I can help you. I mean, that was genius. And and granted, I know it wasn't cheap. I mean, to throw a billboard out there is not cheap, but that is putting everything into being a masterful marketer. And I mean, Joel, for you guys, I mean, I know you guys are always on the cutting edge of technology. You guys are always reinvesting into leads, but the biggest thing that you're doing differently that I feel than everybody else in the industry is you actually care about conversion, because so many people get away from that. Oh, well, let me just throw more leads in. My challenge is I don't have enough leads, so let me throw more in there. Well, here's the deal. If you're not converting what you have, it's pretty tough to run a really profitable business. So how are you guys doing as far as, you got this 100K Club, these guys are coming in. Yeah. What are you doing to get these guys up to the next level where they're like, okay, these guys are converting on the phone. They're hammering it out. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, so it's a great question too. And what really opened my eyes about the whole lead generation portion of it was when Al kind of moved me into a leadership position. The first day that he opened up the books to me, I was like a puppy dog and I peed all over the floor. It shocked the hell out of me at what money goes in. Like, I could go into in a previous life when I was my own agent, I literally was not, I wasn't doing any lead generation, right? I was being a reactive agent, waiting for the phone to call, to ring, and then I would basically do business. So what I learned from Al is just the amount of lead generation and then the tracking right after that. That's the other huge thing right here. Knowing whether you're winning or losing in every source, which is kind of what you just said. And I, hey, we were spending $13,000 a month on Zillow, right? And I loved it. My face was this big on the front of Zillow. Here we go. We're going to keep going. We're just paying the $13,000 a month. And then, we're looking at it. We're going, we're not converting. We need to stop this. Stop digging a hole in the wrong spot, dig it somewhere else. Well, I was like, whoa, what do you mean we're stopping? I love seeing my face up there. And Al's like,
oh yeah,
that ain't the reason to keep going. If we're failing at it, we are running a business. It doesn't mean that we are pulling that money. We're going to reallocate it somewhere else. And you have to be ahead of the curve. That's what we are constantly. Even to this day, we just had a meeting yesterday about what our new lead generation is going to be, and we got some great things coming on board. But it all costs money, which is the challenge, right? But growth does nothing but cost money, and we but it's how you monitor that growth and understand whether you truly are going, and then you tweak your business along the way. And what really helped me is that somebody and I preach this whenever I do the any goal planning sessions with our agents. It's like the airplane, right? Going from Cleveland to Las Vegas. And if it's 1 degree off, it's ending up in Seattle. So that's where the business could be going. But what do a lot of people do is when they get a little challenge, a little turbulence, they either want to stop doing it and they go complete 90 degree, or they just turn around and go back because they're done with it. It's all about tweaking little 1 degree tweaks in your business to get to exactly where you want to go. That's where the month by month monitoring happens.
So true. And it's funny because growth definitely sucks capital. I've learned that. It's funny because I always hear Al say that. And the first thing I'm thinking is like, well, but you grow, you could just throw more money at it. Yeah. Well, no, because the problem is that you need an infrastructure. If you don't have an infrastructure, you are absolutely screwed. Yep. You have to have someone in place. I call it having a Milton, which Milton is like the cornerstone of our business. Without Milton, it would be challenging. You always, and like, that's kind of you, Joel, like you are the cornerstone for Al. Without having the Joel, the team really diminishes. It struggles. The value of the team goes down, and then you have to go back into that role and do everything for everyone. And you can really, the one biggest takeaway I've gotten from Darren Hardy was you can do a couple of things at a level 10, but you can try to do 10 different things and you're going to do them at like a level 2. So the biggest thing is that delegation, making sure that you got the right people in the seats.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's huge. Go ahead.
Before you ask another question, I never answered your first question. So I went in the circle. So I want to make sure I touch on this for anybody watching. You asked, what are we doing a little differently for the agents, the committed agents in the 100K club? So what we're doing is it's stuff that if you were to separate it, right, we have our committed agents that are committed to coming in every day, and then we have the general population of agents. Basically is what it is. So the general population of agents, they'll get their our pay-per-click, our SEO lead flow through. But what these committed agents get is we load the for sale by owners, the expireds, the game changers, the for rent by owners, and the pre-foreclosure. Right? Okay. So I gave everybody a little tidbit there. For rent by owners are pretty good. I'm not saying it's gonna be a game changer, but it's amazing how a landlord puts a for lease out there, and it's like, hey, by the way, I'm just a local expert in the neighborhood, and I noticed you're looking to lease your property. Hey, have you ever ended up thinking about selling it before because the market's so hot? Some of these houses are selling over market value. Why not get out of the landlord business? So a lot of these people are converting. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So we load all of those every single morning. So those 4 sources, so they'll do a call block based on those. We'll do some additional home evaluation leads for the agents. So we actually sit down and we'll strategically come up with, hey, what zip codes do you want to work with us? We target them on Facebook, that audience from that zip code, and then we'll create some home evaluation leads. we'll a little bit more into our playbook is they have some probate leads that they work as well. And then we're doing things with some live transfers from bot systems and stuff that our CRM platform. So it's just basically it's definitely a level up, and it's here's what one of the things that Cheplack always says to us is, reward the behavior you're looking for. So if agents are saying I am committed to coming in every day, I need to reward that. I mean, it's just that's how it is.
I'm going to ask a question that I never like to get asked, but I figured what the hell, might as well.
Bring it on.
Do you guys have any guarantees in place? So meaning if I come in every single day, and again, I don't know, because I know I've heard of different agencies offering, well, hey, if you come in and you do this X, Y, and Z, we guarantee you'll make X amount of dollars. Do you guys have anything like that? Have you ever considered doing anything like that?
Yeah, we used to do that. Honestly, I feel that it's false advertising.
That's fair. So when you say because then at that point it's almost like you're looking for them to drop the ball, and you're not necessarily rewarding the right activities. Would you say that's probably pretty fair to say if you have a guarantee in there?
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, listen, I'm sure whoever's watching this, I'm going to ruffle a couple feathers by saying this, but I feel
right.
Setting an agent up for failure is what it is. So it's almost like saying, like promising them that you're going to make $250,000 a year and then set them up with all the resources to make $100. So we have seen these guaranteed programs where they're like, you need to do 6 open houses a month. You need to do, X, Y, and Z plus this divided by pi, all this bullshit. And then, but realistically, it's not possible, to be honest with you. So, I mean, we're humans. So we actually set it up. It's more of a, we do have an agreement with them, but it's more of an accountability, right? It goes back to tracking. So every single day, the group has to fill out a success form, right? What did you accomplish today? I want to know dials, conversations, appointments set, appointments ran, all that stuff. And we also track those metrics from the individual sources. So I want to know that broken down for FSBO expired, for any of the Zillow calls that we're making, the general Shark Tank or the pond is what some people call it, but we call it a Shark Tank. Our Shark Tank in our CRM. So I want to know that broken down to, honestly, a 4th grade level. Then we review it every week. Now I know what I need to work on with those agents. It has a human element behind it, which is me. Now I say, hey, Matt, it looks like you've had a shitload of conversations. You're not setting any appointments. I know it's a skill issue at that point.
Right.
If they're making dials and they're not having conversation, it's a data issue.
Yep. And then you know what to fix.
Yeah, and if they're not making dials, it's an effort issue. So it's usually one of those 3 things. It's going to be the effort, it's going to be the data, or it's a skill issue. I just hone in on one of those, and then I focus on that. And then, you know what we always say, you're either going to coach them up, or maybe it's not for them. So
or kick them out.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, honestly, you're right. But now, like in my position, where are they going? So we're creating a 50K club. People who want to commit to just a few days and just really need accountability. So we have different programs for everybody on every level.
Wow, that's huge. And I mean, and for everybody that's watching, it doesn't matter what market you're in. I mean, you can reverse engineer these numbers and look at your average sales price and say, okay, based on this, let's create a $150,000 club for the people that are in California or anyone that's in a higher average sales price market. But I love it. I mean, that is a huge value add that you have these levels of accountability in place. Before we get to the special sauce, I did want to ask Chris. So Kristen actually was a realtor in the 90s. Yeah. And, of course, it's totally, and she was a great realtor, and you worked in the east side, you worked some west side. What changes have you seen, Kristen, just in terms of then, like, what are some takeaways too with Joel and the way their infrastructure is? Because it's definitely got to be enlightening to see that somebody's running things like a business.
Absolutely. It almost sounds like I don't want to simplify it, but let's call it what it is. I mean, you have to have a skill set to go in there, but it almost sounds like you made it like a McDonald's system. If you do these things, these are the results that we can expect, right? You made it to where it's almost like a plug and play kind of thing. You made a system so someone could make $100,000. What's appealing is, you could get somebody who's young to go do that, who's a go-getter. I mean, that's the cool thing about real estate is you can do it right out of high school if you wanted to, you know what I mean? Or you can do it as another career. What I like that, as an older person, I like the fact that you guys made a system where you say, look, if you do this, this is where you're going to end up. That's awesome, because I know when I started, it was like, there was none of that, right? I mean, you barely figured out how to do, just to get leads or to get anything started. What's different now, obviously, is the technology and the social media. When we sold, we put an ad in the paper, right? We put an ad in the paper. We sat floor. It was very, very simple. There's just so much to know now. When you have somebody that sells real estate, they just have to know so many other things now. You got to know how to market yourself. You got to know how to run a CRM. You got to know how all this other stuff. It's just, what I like about that, what you're doing, Joel, is that you're giving direction to somebody that just doesn't really know where to start, which is awesome.
It's huge.
Because I wish I would have had that.
So
seriously.
So you brought up McDonald's, and I mean, now I'm thinking we got to give the special sauce here, because everyone's been, because the one thing that I led with is how to have the highest level of accountability, but also at the same time build a great culture, which I will tell you guys, I mean, that's probably the one thing that I miss the most, because, of course, my whole, my entire stint in real estate, I mean, I owe to Al and Joel. I mean, being in their team, helping with the inside sales, and of course, helping with the coaching of the team, and helping, basically kind of, working hand in hand with Al and Joel to help really grow an amazing real estate company. But again, I do miss the fact that there's that, camaraderie, the meeting consistently. And what I really want to dial in, though, for everyone that's watching, how do you do this whole where you don't need to hire more management, you don't need more salespeople, all you need is the right system, and it's the self-led accountability groups. And I'm not going to talk on it because Joel is the master at it. But Joel, I would love to hear, because this has probably been some of the biggest takeaways for people that I've even just introduced it to, the self-led accountability groups. Tell me a little bit about that. How does that work?
Yeah, and by the way, I wasn't ignoring Kristen. I couldn't hear a word that she was saying, so it was.
That was brilliant, man. Come on.
I was going off of your facial expression, so.
That's awesome.
So yeah, here's the deal. And I don't mean to keep dropping this name, but John Cheplack introduced these self-directed work groups. One of our core values of our company. So number one, you brought up culture. Okay, what did he change around? Here's the ultimate fail as in leadership, is you're trying to police the culture. You will ultimately fail unless your team is the one policing the culture. That completely changed for us. And I was like, because why? It was me, it was Al, it was you trying to create the culture, which, yes, we can create the foundation of the culture and we can help the accountability portion of it. But no, the agents have to police and continue the culture through. So that was a big changer for us. And so here, the core values, right? We fire by our core values, and you'll see all over our office. I mean, like I got a wristband, my 100 wristband. That's the number one core value of our. There you go. Yeah, man. Right. It's like I run my life based on 100, and it's not. A lot of people say, "Oh, what is 100/0?" Right? 100 is let's call it surface level, is 100% accountability with zero excuses. Okay, complete ownership for the satisfaction of our customer service, our client satisfaction, for your anything that you're doing in business, right? I want 100% accountability for that, with one excuse falling out of your mouth. But take it to the next level, giving 100% of everything in your life in your finances, in your friendships, in your, in your romance, whatever it is, giving 100% and expecting nothing in return, that's the life changer right there. So,
huge.
Yeah, so we named these groups 100-0 accountability groups. So what are they? This is where I was doing coaching calls every single week with all of our agents.
Yep.
Every week, 30-minute coaching call. And that works, don't get me wrong, but here's what happens. It's that whole mouse on a wheel thing. All I'm getting is, and nothing against all of our agents, right? They know I love them, but they know I would say this in front of them or on this on our training. They gave me lip service, right? Every week they were telling me exactly what I wanted to hear. And then what was I doing? I was saying, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? When I'm saying why, what am I asking for? An excuse. I'm getting an excuse, which is completely against our core values. So we said, so Shep Black basically said, here's what is working with some of the top teams around the United States and Canada right now. He coaches the top 60 real estate agents in the United States and Canada for all different brokerages. So he implemented these group accountabilities. So what we ended up doing, and these are all optional. With a group, I asked the question. I said, "Okay, great. Now we're gonna talk to our agents. We're gonna try to get them bought into this. What's the success number? How many agents out of 40 do we want to see part of these groups?" He said, honestly, Joel, a third. It would be a complete success. We had 96% sign up for these classes.
Wow.
So I'm like, holy shit, what do we do now?
Right.
Yeah, and so, but here's what it's all about. So it's asking, and you could ask yourself this, you could ask anybody this. It's, do you feel successful, or are you happy with where you're at so far this year, or where you're going to end the year? 99% of the times the answer is no.
Right.
Right? Because that's why they call them the 1%ers. The 1%ers are doing what they should be doing and actually are satisfied with the direction, with the money they're making, with everything in their business. So 99% of people cannot raise their hand with that. The next question is this: in order to be more successful or help you hit your goals this year, do you feel that you should have, that you needed more lead generation, more platforms, and more ninja techniques and scripting? A, or B, do you feel that you need more accountability, more consistency, and more commitment? It's only one or the other. Everybody wants one or the other. What is it with the tools that you are provided right now? So the answer, obviously, is the whole effort, the consistency, the accountability portion of it. So therefore, what we do is and here's what we also learned. It's all about, okay, we have one giant commitment, right? It's usually the money you want to put in your pocket. It's all about the micro commitments along the way to help you towards your goal. It's like that airplane, right? You're redirecting and you're making different commitments to try to get you to your final destination. But it's also the accountability that people are holding you to at a high level. So these micro commitments, we basically start with it's a 6-week program. We get together in the office in person for 1 hour every single week for 6 weeks. And it's a mixed up group. So there's usually somewhere about 6 to 10 people in these groups. We go through, we make 3 actionable and measurable commitments every single week. And these are commitments that are are kind of designed to help us, move the needle. Okay, so sometimes it's going to involve, I want to go to the gym 5 times this week. By next week's meeting, that's going to be one of my commitments. The next is to jump on 2 3-hour call blocks. And then the next one is, whatever. It could really be whatever that agent wants according to their goals. But the game changer is you have your peers in that room with you. So go ahead, try to make those personal commitments for 3 weeks straight. Your bullshit's going to be called out.
Right.
So it's really cool. And here's what it all revolves around. It's the plus, minus, and equal. Okay, so that Cheplack talks about two things: plus, minus, equal. This is what Frank Shamrock from the UFC. He's a huge trainer now. He actually has a really great speech about plus, minus, equal. But this is what those groups create. You have people that are plus, that are above you. What do those people do? They will reach down and they will pick you up with something that they see you're struggling with that they have really succeeded at. That's what happens when with peers. Then you have the minus, right? It's the flip side. It's when an agent that is above somebody does the reaching down and pulls the people up, right? That's what helps create the culture. But it's the equal. It's the people that are just like you doing the same business. They will push you to be a better person, and they will also call you out on your bullshit. So that goes hand in hand. And it's and so she talks about the plus, minus, equal, and I kind of touched on the next one, which she talks about the reach up, reach down. If you see somebody struggling with something that you can help out with, reach down, pull them up, talk to them about it, and help them move through that. If you need something and you're below somebody, there's no question too small. You call them, you reach out to them, and ask them for help. So the reach up, reach down has really helped us as a group because as 40 agents, I always tell people this, it's true. We are a family. And until you actually experience it and are on our private Facebook page and see, the badassery and the jackassery that goes on. That's what it's all about, right? You're right. Right. You see some of the funny things that we do on there, but it's the agents doing it too. But yeah, these accountability groups, that way, when you're in a group and I make a commitment and I'm sitting here with a peer that I look up to, I don't want to let them down. And I also don't want to let the people down that are looking up to me. So I'm working through the commitments. So how do we hold them accountable? As leaders, I cannot lead 40 people without the help of other leaders. So that's actually one of our core values too, leaders leading leaders. And so here's what we do. I'm not in all these groups. So every single week they have a different accountability partner that's in the group. And it rotates every week. So you're not getting too comfortable with your accountability partner. But that allows me to reach out and say, hey, Matt, what's happening, man? I hear who's your accountability partner this week? Oh, is it Kristen? That's great. How's she doing with her commitments? You're going to know what she's doing. And guess what organically happens? You're also going to say, oh, and by the way, here's my commitments and here's how I'm doing. Then I could call Kristen and talk to her about Matt's commitment. So it's really neat on how it works. But due to the power of peers, I cannot express enough by how that has just changed everything in our team.
Man, that's sorry. I'm just sitting there like mind is blown because hearing you put that out there, and because there's so many teams right now, and we've got a lot of people that over the years we've worked with different teams, and there is a big missing piece when it comes to that culture, when it comes to having core values, when it comes to accountability. And the one thing that you touched on briefly, but I feel like is so impactful, that if you didn't walk away with the entire synopsis of how to do this, by the way, guys, we're going to be uploading this into a podcast. It'll be all repurposed, so don't worry. It will be in many platforms, so you can literally take the schematic of what he gave you. But this is probably one of out of all of the shows we've done so far, this is one of and we've only done 3, but still, this is phenomenal because you gave practical application. And practical application, this is not some BS theory of, just do X, Y, Z, and it's gonna happen for you. No, you gave practical application. You could literally walk away from here and take these action steps to really put this into your team. But one thing that I just want to circle back is core values. Core values are huge. Hiring and firing on core values. And Joel, we both can talk on this. How many times we've hired on either we brought in when we were trying to grow our inside sales team, we want to grow and get more inside sales reps so that I could start building out our team. And, the guy or gal would first day come in, give excuses as, oh, my tire went flat. Oh, I had to drop my mom off at an airport. Oh, my phone isn't working. That's why you can't see my dials. It's a bunch of BS excuses, but the big thing about the core values is that core values don't lie. There's no emotion involved. It's not because I have a personal connection with you, or I like you, or I don't like you, or whatever the case may be. Now, granted, you should like the people you're with. That does make things easier. But if you have a core value system in place, you extract the emotion behind your decision, and you're only using logic. And when they come in, there's an agreement that says, hey, you're going to abide by these core values. And if you don't fit these core values, get out.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just simple.
You want a really good exercise too with it, and this works with employees or agents, right? We fire by core values. And I've been asked way too many times when we do have a challenge with somebody, I'll jump on the call with our real estate coach, John Kitchens. And I'm telling him about it. And he's like, dude, answer one question: are they a core value fit? Yes or no? Yep. And then the question 2 is, can you coach them up? Are they coachable? Because if they're not everybody's coachable, then you need to coach them out. So, but a really good exercise is we have all of our core values on a sheet of paper. We could do a core value assessment with all the employees. So whenever you have your monthly one-on-ones with them, you slide a sheet of core values and you say, okay, let's go through this. You rate yourself according to these core values on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst that you need to work on. And I will do the same thing. Here's what always happens. The employees and the agents always rate themselves lower than what you would rate them. Mm-hmm. And then you can just show them and say, okay, yeah, that's cool. Like, here's the areas to work. Everybody initials and signs the paper. We keep it in the file until next month, and then we review it again.
I love it. And that's, we started doing that with the inside sales company it's been about a year now. But we have it's an accountability index. So just like you're saying, every single month, what we'll do is we'll say, okay, 100-0. Yeah. Are they taking accountability for this core value? If they are, we put a check in the box. If they're not, we just, put an X in there. And I mean, it's huge. And then at the end of each month, we take those numbers and we say, okay, so 100-0 is worth, 20%. Basically seek first to understand, then to be understood is 15%. And then we break it down, and then everyone has a number. So when someone comes to me and says, hey, can I get a raise? Oh, hey, and again, obviously that's from but agents, hey, can I get a higher commission split? Yeah. Hey, can I? Because it happens. It does. And you need to say, okay, well, hey, let's sit down and let's look at the core value index. Let's see if you're hitting your metrics. And then you actually have something to go off of, and they're not going to ask you for that unless they are checking the box. And it's huge. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So, also, go ahead. I want to make a comment. Kelsey Wozniak said on here, that she goes, I love that you set your agents up for success no matter what level they want to be at. That was the other change. I think, and you can look it up. I think Al did a whole big thing on the death of the real estate team, right? Oh, yeah. I remember that. And here, super surface level is what was the real estate team is the exact same that we ran was a level, was a team, a lean and mean team of top producing agents, and you were not welcome on this team unless you were doing this. And so it was like, and it was militant. And what happened, right? The rug gets pulled out from under us. 2 of our top agents left, took 2 of our other agents and started their own team. I remember that story. $600,000 in gross commission walks out that door in one day. Yeah. So yeah, does that hurt? Hell yeah, it does. So what did we do? We're thinking, how can this never happen again? Like, we're always trying to make ourselves better. And the first thing we do is look in the mirror and we say, how is this never going to happen? So Cheplack, something that he has instilled in us is you always meet the agent where they're at. Don't be that team. When I say set them up for failure, don't be that team to say, all right, Matt, you're gonna your goal this year is $200,000. And I made this mistake. We have an agent, and she might even be watching this, and she's probably laughing her ass off right now. I was setting a goal, right, that she wanted to make $150,000 a year because why? That's what our average agent was making a year. So why the hell not? You're going to be an average agent on our team. Her goal is to do 12 transactions a year because she's a stay-at-home mom, and this was like a part-time job for her. I didn't get that. I didn't listen to her. As opposed to now, I'm meeting her where she's at now. And by the way,
between that period, she was ready to quit. I made her cry about 13 times. It was a recipe for a disaster. So what happened? We revamped everything, met her where she's at. She's happy as a clam. And we provide services according to that. So we have all our little volume buttons. She's getting lead flow and all the services that are aligned to help her hit her goals, as opposed to let me flood you and overwhelm you with all these leads, even though you don't need them or want them.
That's so huge. And I mean, I remember, and I mean, again, I'll leave it nameless. But I do remember too, when I was there and we had an agent that was, she was great. She was amazing at building rapport. She was one of those people where she was well known amongst the community. Everyone loved her. And she only had a certain income threshold that she wanted to hit. She didn't have the goal of let me do 60 transactions, let me do 50 deals. And she was a phenomenal agent. I mean, but you have to meet these people where they're at, or else, they're going to eventually find the door, because you're setting up parameters, you're setting up goals for them, and it's in reverse. Yeah. And then it's not in alignment. It's not in alignment with who you want to be, what you want to accomplish. And I do want to give a couple of shout outs, if I could, to a couple members on your team that are phenomenal that I've watched grow. And it's pretty cool because I got to coach and train Kelsey when she first started, and watching her evolve into where she's at now has been absolutely, it's been amazing to watch her go from, the transactions she was doing, the struggling to get leads, the struggling to close people down. I remember she went on like her first listing appointment. Now I just read she was like the top producer in the office last month. Her and Walters.
Yeah, her and Dan Walters are the top producer for last month, and it was neck and neck too. So we always give it more than one person, but yeah, they were literally neck and neck. And if you really want to know the honest truth, is that if they were in a ring together, I would put my money on her all day long because she would absolutely whoop his ass. But yeah, she's feisty, of course. But where did that start, right? This isn't me patting you on the back. It is, but it started with the training. You put her through 90-day, basically a boot camp on this is exactly the structure that you need to have in your schedule. Here's the proper scripting. And then, she took off. So she was committed to her success, and that's the biggest thing. If you're an agent out there and you're wondering, and you're not happy where you're at, are you committed to your success, and are you doing everything in your power to help you hit that success? And if you're not, do something different. Think, there's plenty of things at your fingertips. Even as an agent, you're not doing any lead generation. There are plenty of things at your fingertips.
Oh no, and you know what I mean. And here's the thing: that wasn't even my shameless plug, because you guys. Here's the thing, and I've told so many people this because, and I don't want to get too deep into inside sales because we'll have other times for that, and I want to be respectful of everyone's time. But here's what I will tell you. What a lot of times people think is, I hired an inside sales rep. Now it's the golden goose. My business is going to take off. I'm going to do hundreds of more deals a year. Guys, no, it doesn't work that way. It's just the exact same thing when you have other agents that you bring in. Sometimes they're slow to take off. It takes a little bit of time. You have to invest, put that time in, and obviously invest in the right people. That's a big thing. Making sure that it's the right person, making sure they have the right behaviors, the right attitude, the right, really motivation to get to that next level. And motivation's BS. I mean, just so everyone knows, motivation is fleeting. It doesn't last. But when you have a system that you built out, and that's why I wanted to really, this call has been phenomenal. When you have a system that is built around the success of others, and you are obsessed with the success of others. And again, you guys aren't sitting here. You're not the Bob Ross painting the damn picture of the pretty trees of, this is what your life will look like. No, let them paint the picture, because it's up to them to decide what it looks like. What do they want, and how can they work within the constraints of the team and work together and be in alignment, opposed to it being where, this person wants more leads, this person, wants to close X amount of deals, but maybe the other person just they have a different view of what success is. And it's a system.
You as a leader too, though, you need to understand what some of those, not only what their financial goals, I want to know what their personal goals too, because if you truly take their success personally, that there's where we talk about changing lives, right? So, I mean, we had Megan on our team was literally when she sat down with me last October, she goes, my goal, my personal goal is in 12 months, I want to get my family to Disneyland. And I'm like, I got your back. Let's do it. Here's what we need to do. Here's your blueprint on what you need to do on a monthly and a weekly basis. And then we're going to hit it. Last August, less than 12 months later, she's at freaking Disney with her family taking pictures. And it made me happy because it was at a personal level. That's why I take success personally. It's not money goes in the company's pocket.
Right. I love it. And that is so impactful because you were able to help her achieve, something that I'm sure was a lifelong thing for her, or, of course, because maybe you don't have a chance to do that when you're a kid. Maybe
Right.
there's that opportunity that's missing. So that's phenomenal. I also want to give a shout out really quick to Elise because I've watched her grow into a phenomenal agent. And I mean, it's awesome seeing all the things that she's doing. So, and the fact that you guys have a really strong core group of people, a lot of that is system centric. So many people are like, oh my God, you're awesome at sales and you do all these great things. And I've heard some of your calls like, oh, look, yeah, that's all fine and well, but it's also the system because you can I always bring it back to football. You could be the greatest quarterback ever, but if you have absolutely no one around you to throw the ball to, and, they're not running the right routes, their timing is off, and you don't have people to block, that's the Cleveland Browns. We'll talk, it's another story. If you don't have the right system and the right people in place, it doesn't matter how great that one individual person is.
Yeah.
So really, you guys have built something absolutely phenomenal. So, Joel, I mean, thank you so much for jumping on. This was huge. There's a ton of value here. Kristen, did you have any questions, anything you wanted to add in? I don't know if Joel can still hear you, but I can relay.
Today, I can see you now. I wasn't able to see before. So.
I don't know what's going on. People can't see me or hear me. I'm sorry.
She disappeared last week.
I know.
I don't know what happened. She was on, and I didn't see her.
Matt thought I had happy hour early or something. I don't know.
Right.
No, honestly, what I like is that my old, and God bless him, my old real estate broker used to put his goals on me.
Yeah.
His goals, not mine. And it would freak me out. And I would get anxious and I would get like, and the thing was, I love the fact that like, okay, she only wants to do 12 deals a year, like your lady, right? Some people only want to do that. I wanted to do more, but he would always put his stuff on me. It was his system. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't custom made for someone that maybe just wanted to sell 25 homes a year or 30 homes a year. So I love the fact that you guys do that. And it makes your team, because you have personal goals and what I like too is that since everybody's accountable to each other, it builds a huge bond between your people.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, that's incredible. They become very, very tight knit when that happens. It really does. Everybody says family. Sounds like you guys really built one.
Yeah.
Like for real.
Yeah. And it is. And right. It's about, helping them with the goals at where they want to be at. But don't get me wrong. It's us being involved in their lives too, in their businesses. I want to always be a part of our agents. I'm not one of those team leaders or managers that I hide behind my desk or I'm on the golf course all the time. I would love to be, but I am constantly in front of them. Our group is training and coaching centric. Period. I want to. And here's for anybody who is running a team, might be the greatest nugget. All you have to do to grow your team is out-train your competition. That's all it is. And serious. So here's what happens. They go to another brokerage. Yeah, we got all this training, then they got to pay for it. Or we got all this training, and then it never happens. So therefore, I'm over-training them, and I guarantee you no one will ever leave us saying that they never got trained good enough.
And one more thing that I want to add in with that, and Joel, that's so impactful. And with the training, you guys are investing in yourself to bring more value on a consistent basis. And I can't even tell you, I mean, just being a part of, even the Honey Badger group and being a part of like coaching with Frank Kern and Stuman and all those different guys. I mean, I've learned a lot of really great marketing techniques, but I've also learned that in order for you to be a really good, effective leader and to shift and, really shift and align with where the business goes, you have to get a coach. I mean, bottom line is that if you're looking to grow and get into a different space, you have to have someone to coach you, or at least guide you along the way, whether it's a coach, a mentor, whatever it is. You have to find someone that's doing just slightly a little bit more than what you're doing, that's on the cutting edge, and then going there. Because I mean, even us as a company, I mean, we noticed that we were not getting the same pickup rates. So we actually went to more, we're starting to text now. We're doing more texting. We're doing more actual finding people on social media, which has been huge. I mean, it's allowed us to take our business and scale it and grow it and bring it to the next level. So I love it. And I mean, guys, for everyone that's watching, if you like this, give some likes, give some love, throw some comments in. Stephanie, thank you for all of the awesome comments. John Rubel, changing the paradigm. I love it. Kelsey, yep, setting agents up for success. Sav, straightforward. Todd, ballers and shot callers. Love it.
There's we got hit with the Crockett.
I love it. I love it. Well, Joel, thank you so much for jumping on. This was huge. I mean, I can't even tell you how much value this thing has added. I'm still just blown away by by all the value you dropped on this call. So
part one, dude. We gotta finish up with part two sometime.
100%.
There's a lot more that I can talk about.
I love it. Awesome. Kristen, thank you for being on as well. I appreciate you guys both. And till next time, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Thanks for the opportunity, guys.
All right. See you, Joel.
See you.
Bye.